All right, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children over the age of 18. Welcome to episode 20 of the Smack Talk Wrestling Podcast. It's your boy Marc, aka Pro Wrestling Kingpin. I'm with the king of the wrestling trolls, Gonzo, as always, and the king of twitching gaming, A-OK Gaming Angel. What's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. Gonzo, how you doing, buddy?
Moment of silence for the passing of definitely a wonderful, wonderful wrestler as we know it. And so Roman Reigns' father, for those of you who can see this right now up on our Twitch and YouTube channels. So for those of you that are listening on the podcast, we're just paying our respects here for the late great
Sika Anoa'i.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate that.
one half for the Wild Samoans, 3-time WWE Tag Team Champion, WWF Tag Team Champions, 2-time NWA Tag Team Champion, 3-time Mid-South Wrestling Tag Champs, and multiple others on the wrestling territories. 2007 Hall of Fame inductee, and the father of Roman Reigns, our tribal chief, or our former tribal chief. And Rosie, if you guys remember Rosie, he's also the father of Rosie. So this one kind of sticks for that family, as well as the elders of our family that grew up watching him in the territory days. So yeah, that's definitely a big hit. But once again, welcome guys, my marks to episode 20. We're going to be talking SmackDown. We went to SmackDown this past Friday. We're going to be talking Money in the Bank preview. We're going to be talking the state of the tag team division, Liv's Judgment Day, and of course the Wyatt Six. And we have a new game for you guys tonight. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Last Friday, we all went to SmackDown. I got that Chicago Nightmare exclusive here tonight. I thought my boys would wear it too, but I guess they didn't. Next time we'll coordinate next time. But what do you guys think of the show? We went to our first live show in a while together. So let's talk about that real quick. Gonzo, what you think of the show? What was your favorite part?
Can't wear my Chicago Nightmare shirt for at least another year and a half. Come on, bro. You can't wear stuff like that right away.
Yes, I can.
I mean, that's fine. You can be like the rest of the world that wears Panda Dunks every 2 seconds and just blend
I
in.
will. Maybe I should put on my AEW Young Buck sneakers too. I don't care.
So as far as the event itself, that was probably one of the better shows that I've been to that was strictly just a Raw and or SmackDown showing. And so I know the United Center, the Allstate Arena tends to be very, very loud, regardless of what type of show that they tend to put on when it comes to WWE. And this was no different. I know towards the very end of the night, my hearing actually started to pop a little here or there just because of how interactive and how loud the crowd was throughout the night. So definitely a very lively crowd.
Agreed. Angel, what'd you think of your live show? First one since we went to Raw in March over there, which took us, an hour and a half to get in when we're 10 minutes away.
No, yeah, this time was a little bit more chill. Last one was definitely more hyped. But me and you had a little bit of headaches getting in there. It was a little bit warm. We didn't have the best seats ever, but Allstate's not that big of an arena, so and everywhere is not that bad to watch a show. We did have good seats for Survivor Series, right? And then we went to what was the show we went to last time?
We went to Monday Night Raw in March
Raw.
and then Survivor Series in November.
Right. November was really cool when we saw it. Survivor Series with the double ring cage matches. And then Raw was the one where we had a little bit of difficulty, but that was the Punk comeback show, which was great. We got lucky to see that. And then this show was fun. I had a lot of fun. It was cool to be with you guys. I don't think we've ever been to a live show together, us three. So it was cool to do that. And hopefully we have plans to go to some more whenever we get a chance. But I had a lot of fun. I'd definitely do it again. It was exciting.
Yeah, for sure. I had a lot of fun. I don't know what Angel's talking about those seats. Those seats were fantastic, but whatever.
No, I'm talking about last time. I'm talking about Raw.
Raw wasn't bad either. We just sat next to behemoths. So
okay.
But it is what it is. But yeah, I personally I think that was the SmackDown of the year, and I'm not just saying that because we went there. From start to finish, I thought it was a fantastic SmackDown.
SmackDown of the year were both in Chicago?
I'd probably have to say that, yeah. Most likely. But yeah, SmackDown of the year, we had some Money in the Bank qualifiers. We had CM Punk and Drew McIntyre drama. And of course, the hot news: Jacob Fatu joins the Bloodline. But let's get into the Money in the Bank qualifiers. So Chelsea Green shockingly wins the female Money in the Bank qualifier over Bianca Belair and Michin. The crowd absolutely erupted. I erupted out of my seat. I lost my voice for a couple of days just because of that match. So what do you guys think of Chelsea Green going over on Belair and Michin?
Chelsea Green. I had the whole section looking at me sideways when I said at the very start that she's going to go over. Dirty looks, sideways looks, guys behind me. What up? And at the very end, look what happened. That crowd, you might as well just been at a pay-per-view or a PLE back in the day with that crowd reaction. And I was completely shocked by that, to be truthful. I love the on-screen presentation of her. Arrogant, cocky, sassy, know-it-all, always right, constantly talking garbage to people. That's my type of character. So I know it's very annoying for other individuals, but it's also finally nice to see that she's getting some recognition.
Well, I mean, everyone looked at you sideways is because she was getting the broski treatment forever. So you can't help but say, I mean, when you're getting the broski treatment, I mean, it's kind of shocking. But I'm glad. I personally love Chelsea Green myself. She's fantastic. I mean, it's about damn time. She was great on NXT. Then she left for a couple years and she came back. She was in Impact right before she came back to WWE. So I'm glad she's finally getting something. Angel, what do you think? Was that the correct choice, Chelsea Green, in that matchup?
I think so. Yeah. Obviously Bianca's taking an L there, but that's okay. I mean, Bianca's got enough heat behind her and her tag team run. She still got stuff going on with Jade. So she's got a lot more ahead of her. I don't think she's really worried about it anyway. But Chelsea needed this. I'm glad they're
100%.
giving her. I'm glad they're at least giving her this shot. Is she going to win? Who knows at this point? We got to see how the rest of these qualifiers go and see how it's going to pan out. But it's cool to see her get a win with a really good opponent in that match. Michin isn't bad either right now. Michin's
Michin's been doing double duty, man. So I mean,
this triple threat we saw live, which was cool. It was a good match, and I think they did it well. And it was cool to see Chelsea get some actual over wins here. And I think she has a brighter future right now on her own. Not to say that her and Piper weren't cool, but I think she needs her own solo run here, and I'm excited to see what happens with her because I think she's talented. I think all three of us like Chelsea, so
love Chelsea.
We all agree with that. Yeah,
just didn't expect that win. That's why I popped out of my chair like everyone else.
Yeah,
so happy. Honestly, that was probably my favorite moment of the night, with the exception of Jacob Fatu finally coming. Right. But definitely Chelsea Green, that was my favorite because it's so unexpected. You love being in those moments when you have an unexpected thing happen. Those are always the best in live stories, you know what I mean? But moving on, another qualifier: Randy Orton versus Tama Tonga versus Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes wins due to the bloodline involvement. Personally, I feel like that was a correct move as well. First round pick, you got to get him doing something. Tama Tonga being in there is kind of weird to me, just to be honest. And Randy Orton, I feel like, is at a point in time where he's just putting people over. So I felt like it was a correct move. Angel, what did you think of that one?
I thought it was the more predictable of the. I think I called that one for sure before the match started, but I think we all were kind of thinking that was what was planned out for WWE there. It just made the most sense. Carmelo needed it a little bit, and of the three in the match, I mean, Tama, he doesn't really need it right now. Randy, he's got the KO, and we knew he was going to team up with Cody and all that for the triple threat match that we'll talk about later, I'm sure. But anyways, Carmelo was the right move. I think this was a good booking. He gets to beat some good stars, especially Randy, legend killer, Hall of Famer, or future Hall of Famer, I should say, excuse me. But it was a good match for Carmelo. I think they booked it right.
Awesome. Gonzo, do you agree? Was it a good move for Carmelo Hayes to qualify for the Money in the Bank?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Carmelo Hayes is whatever to me. I mean, I like Chimichanga. His on-screen presence, I actually enjoy a lot more.
Tama Tonga, for those of you who don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, Chimichanga, like you said. Mm-hmm. So as far as his I don't know. I like his build a little bit better. His aggression, his presence. I don't know. I think it's a height thing for me when it comes to Carmelo Hayes. So it was very glaring. I didn't realize that Randy Orton was literally 6'5", and it's like, dude, this
No,
dude is
he's 6'7".
Sorry, now he's 6'7". He just
Well,
keeps
no,
growing.
maybe it was 5. Maybe it was
It's 6'5". We Google it. You Google it. 6'5".
6'8". We'll just say he's 6'8" at this point.
He's
I mean,
6'5". Yeah, he's 6'5".
he is huge. I forgot like how big Randy Orton was, and I mean, there are times where we're watching this match, and I even turned to you and I said, "Dude, how tall is Randy Orton?" Because he's literally just a hulking monstrosity. And Carmelo Hayes, I think, is maybe 5'10", possibly. So Tonga is in that sweet spot where I think he's maybe 6 foot. But as far as Hayes goes, I don't know. There's just something about like his style that I wish he was maybe a little bit taller. But
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
5'10".
that's me just a little bit nitpicking. But overall, I mean, it's the most logical thing because you're building on his progression as a number 1 overall pick. And you're also advancing the bloodline story with Randy Orton to potentially set up future feuds on top of that. So overall, from a booking standpoint, they did a lot of positive things.
That's fair. I mean, I don't agree with the shortness thing. I mean, I'm not going to harp too much on it, but I just feel like a lot of people just still stuck on the Vince McMahon era where you have to be 6'5", 350 pounds of pure muscle, and I feel like we're pretty much out of that era. And Randy Orton's taller than freaking everybody except the Undertaker and these guys. I mean, these guys 6'5". I mean, a lot of them, these wrestlers are not as tall as Randy Orton. So, but I mean, it's a good take. I mean, I'm not going to shit on your take at all. Carmelo Hayes, once again, was the obvious winner of that match. I mean, I think we all kind of called it there. Angel, did you have something else you wanted to say?
No,
Okay.
CM Punk's not that big of a guy. I mean, there's a couple stars.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, especially nowadays.
That have done well for themselves. I mean, I'm going off of show, but Adam Cole used to be in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that can perform at a smaller stature. I mean, it's possible. I get what you're saying, though, Gonzo. I'm also not crapping on your take, but I think Carmelo is just new, so you're gonna have to give him.
I don't think Carmelo's character and the booking that they've been doing have captivated David yet. No. Especially, you know what I mean?
He hasn't done much, to be honest. He really hasn't.
Yeah, so
we'll see. Gotta give him some time, Gotta give him some time.
Everybody can't be Tiffy time.
Right. Not everybody.
Spoiler alert, she's about to job out next week too. Anyway, moving on to the next Money in the Bank that we saw, triple threat qualifier. We had the speed champion Andrade versus Grayson Waller versus Kevin Owens.
You really gonna say that?
Yeah, I did. Andrade got the win. What did you guys think? Was he the correct choice in this triple threat qualifier?
It's going to be a high flying spectacle come Money in the Bank. That's for sure.
That's what you got to do, right?
Like. That's what I think. I was going to say the same thing that Gonzo just said. It seems like they're booking people jumping off the ladder.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say. Andrade getting the win, I think, is a big win for Andrade because his first run in WWE, they really didn't know what to do with him. He went to AEW, wasn't utilized correctly, and then he came back. It seems as though they still don't know what to do with him until now. I mean, maybe they just put him in because they want, like you guys said, a high-flying spectacle. I mean, versus Grayson Waller and Kevin Owens, I feel like Kevin Owens is tied up in a storyline. Grayson Waller, I really don't know, to be honest, what they're doing with him, but we'll get into that tag team division later. So, I mean, Andrade was yet another obvious choice. But then again, it's just the booking for him has been kind of questionable. I mean, he is the current speed champion, and Angel kind of wanted some time to talk about it. So, Angel, you got your time on the speed division, I guess, is what it is. I mean, I don't know what we would call it, but he is the speed champion, and he was in this triple threat, and he did qualify for Money in the Bank. But Angel, you want to dive off a little bit into the speed division?
Okay, I just wanted to say a few things about it. It didn't have to be now, but I'll take it now. First thing that I will say, again, let the live show, Andrade did not come out with the belt. It's ridiculous. Say that every week until they actually show. I think this is like the, I don't know, 5th week now, if we're counting back to Ricochet, maybe more. That someone has come out with that's supposed to have this belt and that they don't have it. I don't know anything past these past few weeks with the semifinals. Andrade's the champ. We just had Frazier over Tozawa, which was a pretty cool match, actually, if you watched it, which most people didn't, but I'm just giving you a heads up.
It's pre-recorded on SmackDown, just to interject. So we actually saw
I'm gonna
that.
get to that. Yeah, I'm going to get to that.
Yeah.
He won with the Phoenix Splash. It was a good match. Tozawa looked pretty fun too. It was cool. And then just let you know, Woods faced Dijak the week before. Woods won that, so we will have Frazier versus Woods to decide who faces Andrade. Not next week, but the week after, 2 weeks from now, for the belt. This is a championship match.
He's really into the speed division. I didn't even know that.
Okay, well, I'm just breaking it down so people know what the hell's
no,
going on
for
with it,
sure.
because
I
nobody knows
appreciate
the
you.
secrets, 'cause
Appreciate you.
They keep it a secret. So I'm
No,
trying to
for
reveal
sure.
the secrets of now. I have something to say about this belt, and then I'll be done with this whole division.
Okay.
Frazier was on NXT last night.
Correct.
He claimed he has an important speed match tomorrow on
Correct.
NXT. That
Correct.
match happened on Friday. Why are they?
Because they're
why are they acting
pre-recorded.
like this is a live.
They're pre-recorded, and then they put it live on X.
But don't even
You know?
mention it then at that point.
Yeah.
You don't show the belt, but you mention he has an important match the next day that doesn't exist. That already happened, excuse me. That makes no sense to me. It's so backwards. Like whoever's in charge of this, I think it's a cool idea. The matches are actually kind of fun. Seeing it live was cool too because how fast they move. It's similar to the cup matches
Mhm.
that we'll talk about later for NXT. But yeah, they're not handling this. The structure of it is not being done well, and the promotion of it that we talked about when we were at the live show, not bringing out the belt to promote it to the live fans and to the people that watch it on TV. Nobody knows that belt exists practically. I'm not a fan of that. So and the way it's being handled. But there you go. That's all I want to say about it.
I 100% agree. Gonzo, do you have anything else you want to say about the speed that neither of us watch, or?
You
don't have to say anything.
You don't have to say anything.
All right, then.
No, you good. Angel wanted his time, so I gave him his time.
I wasn't expecting you guys to reply or have a response about it because I know nobody watches it. But
I agree with you. The promotion is horrible. I mean, if you're going to push this thing, you should be pushing it, right? You're doing it for social media impressions, correct? That's the whole point. You guys, so that's one thing I want to harp on before we continue on with the SmackDown talk is everyone in the world right now is like, oh, the ratings war. But really, that really doesn't matter anymore. 25 years ago, it mattered. It doesn't matter anymore. Everyone shits on AEW and TNA. They're not putting up the ratings. It doesn't matter. They get social media impressions. It's all still getting views, and that's part of your quote-unquote ratings, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. But WWE obviously is we're still the world leader in that, all right? And they're not promoting their speed championship little division thing that they have on X well, and that's all Angel's trying to say.
Right. So we have some timeline now. We're into this now. This isn't like the first few weeks we didn't know what was going on. Now there's like a good sample size of what's been going on. We're at our second champ of this, about to be our third title match of this, experiment, whatever you want to call it. And so I just wanted to break it down a little bit since we have some actual sample size of what's going on with it. That's all.
No, for sure. For sure. All right. CM Punk made a special appearance on SmackDown. We got to see him live yet again. I feel like me and Guns will get super lucky. We saw him in AEW return. Me and Angel saw him return at Survivor Series. We saw him at the Monday Night Raw that took us an hour and a half to get in. And then we saw him again on Friday. We saw a great interaction with him and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman begging him to take him with him. He's so afraid of the bloodline because he knows that Solo is him. So he's just really freaking out of the bloodline. But more importantly, I just wanted to give that little tidbit in there. But more importantly, we saw Drew McIntyre, the unemployed Drew McIntyre, return to SmackDown and just absolutely obliterate CM Punk. Are you guys surprised he returned this quickly? Do you think this should have been drawn out? Or do you think it was just absolutely perfect? Chef kiss. Gonzo, to let you take this one.
They kept it in the continuity of what they're telling on screen. Why is he on a SmackDown show if he is a Raw superstar? Well, let me quit. Play into the narrative, of course, of why I don't like CM Punk, right, as far as Drew McIntyre goes. So, technically speaking, we care about continuity. WWE is not woke Disney right now with creating just random storylines and breaking canon and just destroying things left and right.
Fucking guy.
So here we go, where they are finally listening to the verbiage, the community, right? Because again, people would just pop up on the show and it's like, why are you here? Technically, you're not supposed to. So for once, they legitimately made it appropriate and made it consistent with what they are presenting for people to consume.
Okay.
If you guys didn't hear it, I gave Gonzo a clap.
That never happens. So
I gave him a
I
clap
don't know
because
how to respond.
that's exactly what I was thinking. I really don't have much to say. How do you get? We already know why CM Punk was there, right? He was in Chicago. He missed Monday Night Raw. SmackDown's in Chicago in his hometown, so that's why he was there, right? But how do you get Drew McIntyre there? You can't just show up because they're quote unquote actually, respecting continuity and brand splits. But then you get this, and why? Because he quit. And I like that. I thought that was a fantastic point. That was the point that I was going to make. So, Angel, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Really liked the wise man coming to the ring, talking to CM Punk, seeing them together again, and them throwing that story together where Paul Heyman's begging Solo, not even begging, but telling him I had an agreement with Roman, the true head of the table. CM Punk's off limits for these things, so on and so forth. You had Cody come out, have a little moment with the faces there together from each show. That way they had the bats. It was fun. It was interesting. The show was in Chicago. You had to have Punk show up. I mean, the guy's hurt. He's not wrestling right now. He's coming back. It only makes sense. I know they got to keep the story alive, like Gonzo said. We have to make it happen. So how are we gonna make it happen? And that's how they did it. And it was intelligent. It was fun. We got to see Drew come back, do his thing, ruin Punk's homecoming again, which is really cool. We love to see that. And it just builds to the stories that we're looking forward to seeing this summer. Hopefully at SummerSlam or some point like that. We'll see what happens. But I really like it. I think the Bloodline, their structure is actually showing up more now. And the Wise Man he's just playing his role perfectly. But yeah, Punk and McIntyre, it was perfect.
I agree. All right. And Jacob Fatu makes his surprise debut, joins Solo's Bloodline. He breaks Cody's ribs with a devastating Samoan splash. That thing was sick. We got to see it. We were in the perfect angle to see it. He broke two ribs. Oh,
I didn't know that.
So everyone thought it was going to be Hikuleo because Hikuleo is in New Japan Pro Wrestling and his contract is also up. But it was actually Jacob Fatu. We could still see Hikuleo at some point. We don't know. But Jacob Fatu, now part of the Bloodline, he acknowledges Solo Sikoa as him. So let's discuss the state of the Bloodline real quick. So now we see, I would assume, the full Bloodline. I don't know if they really need anybody else at this point. But if we do, I think the obvious choice would be Hikuleo. But, we can see what happens. Maybe something else from down the road. But this new Bloodline, or as Kevin Owens likes to call him, what, Angel?
The bootleg
Bloodline.
Yep.
Seem definitely unstoppable. So what is the state of the Bloodline right now? What do we do moving forward, Angel?
I like it now more though. I know I've been crapping on it a lot. Solo's doing his thing a little bit. He's revealing more of what his plans are. The very interesting thing that happened on Raw or on SmackDown that we went to, and we couldn't hear anything, and then we watched the show after, and we couldn't hear anything, but practically. But there was one important thing that he said to the Wise Man before he came out. There was a main event match, right, between him and Cody, and that's where Fatu comes out. But before he came out to his entrance, I think the Wise Man says something about Roman, or we need to talk to Roman, or
So Roman's not coming back.
Yeah, when Roman comes back, and Solo says he's not coming back and walks out. To me, that's huge. And I think that's basically the line in the sand has been drawn. Solo is now fully taking over the Bloodline. There's no more, I've talked to him, or we're still, no. It's my show now. I like this part of Solo and what he's doing. Now we see where the actual story's going. Now we see who the leader is, what he's doing. He's got plans cooking. He got Fatu ready to go when he gets jumped. And now the Bloodline's a full army. And now it's just a matter of who the hell they're going to beat up besides Cody and going for that title. And obviously, way down the road, Roman will be back. and we'll have some sort of civil war, maybe with the Usos coming back with them. Who knows? But
it's got to be like
I'm
a bloodline civil war. I mean, everyone's been
yeah,
saying it for months. It's
yeah.
got to be
Survivor
war
Series
games.
styles matches are on the horizon for them. Maybe at Survivor Series, we'll see. It'll be cool.
Gonzo, State of the Bloodline.
Fatu is going to join the Roman Reigns bloodline.
Oh,
Is it a defect?
Well, I don't know if you paid attention to any of the replays, but when they were throwing up the fingers to represent, of course, We the Ones, you have Solo, you have the New Edition, Fatu, and then you also have Chimichanga and his brother that are looking at each other very nervously as they are about to enter into the ring. And as they do that, they're still looking and entering the ring very, very cautiously. So the Edition, they are actually taken back by it. So what I suspect is that there's going to be another member that will at some point be introduced, but potentially Roman Reigns, I would like to believe you will see him at Money in the Bank. There will be
that early. Interesting. Okay.
There will be a return. Reigns will do something to cost a bloodline member something of importance. And so that will potentially set the table, hypothetically, walking its way into SummerSlam for August. And you have an entire month to further just cook and do some interesting things.
I don't know. I think I might have to disagree on that one. I think Money in the Bank's way too early. I think SummerSlam, to be honest, if he does reemerge, it would be SummerSlam or anytime after.
I don't think your idea is bad, Gonzo. I just don't know about the timeline of it. It might be a little bit down the road.
SummerSlam is reserved for Papa Croc.
Oh God, you have too much hope, Pete. That guy.
You do have a lot of hope.
Why are you always wanting that guy to come back so fast? He takes a long break.
I believe it's gonna be Solo and Cody at SummerSlam, and I think that might be like a Roman Reigns, like, yo, what the hell are you doing in this main event right now type deal. So maybe I think SummerSlam is the earliest, and that might even be pushing it, to be honest, because I still say to this day it's gonna be Romans and Cody 3 at WrestleMania, and you got to build that story. So
you just said Solo and Cody
at SummerSlam.
Oh, at SummerSlam. I'm sorry, I thought you said WrestleMania. I was like,
no.
Oh, SummerSlam, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think SummerSlam's still too early to build for that. So I think
nights, right?
Yeah. No. SummerSlam. Not this year. Next year.
Oh, next year it's 2 nights. Okay.
Yeah, next year. Okay.
So
I don't know. I feel like SummerSlam's still a little bit too early, but I mean, it would make sense if he does come back. But that's just my opinion. Moving on, real quick, we got some confirmed matches for the Money in the Bank PLE, which is the first of a double PLE weekend next week in Toronto, Saturday, July 6th. So we got Money in the Bank. We got Money in the Bank on Saturday and Heat Wave on Sunday. There's the other one, Toronto. So 6 and 7 double PLE. So you guys know our show next week is just gonna be breaking down those PLEs. But going on real quick, so we got the World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins. There's a stipulation that if Priest retains, Rollins can't challenge as long as Priest is still champion. If Seth wins, Priest has to leave the Judgment Day. I think that's pretty interesting. We'll get into that a little bit. Intercontinental Championship, we got Sami Zayn defending against Braun Breaker. 6-man tag team match, Cody Rhodes, Orton, and Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline. We don't know which of the Bloodline are going to be in that match. I would say to assume that Solo won't be in the match, but I mean, who knows? We got the men's ladder match. So we have Jey Uso versus Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade versus Chad Gable, and then 2 to be determined. So next SmackDown, we have LA Knight versus Logan Paul versus Santos Escobar on SmackDown to qualify. And on Raw of next week, we got Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre versus Ilya Dragunov on Raw for the final 2 spots. So real quick, predictions on the final 2 spots, guys.
Gonzo.
LA Knight. And then what did you say the other match was?
Sheamus versus Drew versus Dragunov.
Dragunov. Absolutely. Sheamus needs to go away. He needs to continue what he's doing and putting over talent, but that's what it needs to be, and he needs to go away.
I thought he was gonna go the other way about Drew McIntyre. He just totally went like, no, I'm gonna shit on Sheamus. That's funny. Angel, predictions for the final 2 spots?
Probably LA Knight and
say it. The Mad Dragon.
Yeah, it's probably Ilya, dude. I don't see Drew winning this.
So do you think Drew gets screwed again by CM Punk? because that's
I
the
don't
only
even know if
way.
it's Punk at this point.
That's
but,
the only
like,
way I see him winning, to be honest.
But do you really see
Or
Drew
losing.
I mean, they could put him in that match. I guess he could potentially win. It's like 50-50 between him
Braun
and
Strowman won the damn match before, so don't even say he's too big and behemouthy.
No,
I'm just saying that
his story is to face Punk, not to go for the title. Not yet. He's not getting the title. It's not happening. He'll be a match at SummerSlam with Punk without any belts.
Punk is literally coming with his hospital bed tag and a bedpan, and he's going to just bludgeon Drew McIntyre, and that's how that interference is going to go. Yeah, and he's going to have a matching bracelet to go along with his hospital bracelet.
I think so too. As far as the SmackDown match, LA Knight versus Paul versus Santos, I think Escobar qualifies. I think LA Knight and Logan Paul have their U.S. title story, so I don't think that they're going to be in either one of them are going to be in that Money in the Bank match. And then I'm going to go with you guys on Dragunov. Sheamus is not going to win. I think Drew McIntyre gets screwed in some way again by CM Punk. I mean, it just doesn't make sense for him to be in the match, despite how much he wants his title back. I don't think he wins the Money in the Bank nor competes in that match. So, but I could be wrong. All right, the next women's Money in the Bank ladder match.
Wait, are we not going to go over any of the other matches?
What are you talking about?
We didn't predict any of the other matches.
No, because the prediction shows next week.
Oh, my fault. Oh, so you were just asking about those matches because they were qualifiers. Okay.
Correct.
Go ahead. Continue.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah. This guy. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We got Io Sky already confirmed versus Chelsea Green versus Lyra Valkyria, and 3 to be determined. So on this Friday night, we got Candice LeRae versus Jade Cargill versus Tiffy Time. And we also got Naomi versus Blair Davenport and Indy Hartwell. Those are SmackDown qualifier triple threat matches. And then on Raw next week, we have Zoe Stark versus Dakota Kai versus Ivy Nile. So Angel, last 3, who's being entered in these matches?
All right. We're gonna have Tiffy win because
you played yourself.
I know, but we're gonna go with Tiffy because it's time. All right, it's
okay.
Tiffy time for her to be off her suspension. Her little, Michael Jordan in 1993, 1994 suspension she's going through.
Okay.
We got.
There's only one right answer in that second one.
It better be that right. Well, I think me and David are on the same page on that one, but we'll see. Angel, go ahead.
I guess it's Blair.
Okay.
The second one.
Yes, there you go.
Naomi's nothing right now, and Indy, she's cool, but she's got nothing going on, so it's got to be Blair.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one, that's the toughest one for me. I think I like Zoe Stark a lot, but it's not Dakota Kai.
It's Ivy Nile.
It's Ivy Nile.
It's 50-50 between Ivy and Zoe for me. I do like Zoe Stark a lot. I think she's buried too much, to be honest. And it's not her own fault. It's just a matter of like talent and stuff, but they could do a lot more with her. But it's probably going to be Ivy, yeah. But I still have a little dark horse for my girl Zoe Stark.
All right. Gonzo, who enters the women's Money in the Bank ladder match?
Tiffy, Blair, and Ivy.
Interesting. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I want the all NXT brand here, where it's 98% the match. So let's go.
All right, we're going Jade Cargill. She's gonna get her revenge on Tiffy Time. Blair Davenport, because she was a high draft pick that hasn't done anything yet. And Zoe Stark is not going to win because she's in a tag team division right now that they seem to be kind of paying attention to. Dakota Kai doesn't have the knees for the match, and Ivy Nile is just the only one that actually needs to do something. So Ivy Nile, Blair Davenport, and Jade Cargill. All right, guys. So tune in next week for the PLE prediction show for both PLEs. But moving on, we're going to debut a new game. I'm sure you guys have seen it before. It's called Guess the Wrestler. All right. But we have 3 hosts here. So what's going to happen is I'm going to pick a wrestler for these guys to guess. They get 90 seconds to attempt to guess what wrestler I'm having them guess. The winner of this match between Gonzo and Angel will face me, and the loser of this match between Gonzo and Angel will give me and whoever I face next week's Guess the Wrestler. So if everyone's clear on the rules, no other further questions, guys, are you ready to play the first ever Guess the Wrestler on the Smack Talk Wrestling Podcast?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me get my timer. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let me get my timer, and you guys have 90 seconds.
Who goes first?
Who wants to go? Paper, scissors, rock in the air. Just 1v1. Wait, before you guys go, it's rock, paper, scissors, release.
Oh my god. Gonzo, go first.
Who the hell says release? Fine, I'll go
Gonzo,
first.
go first. I'm over it.
All right. Well, I'm just saying, you know how people be.
That's
Hey.
fine. Let's go.
All right, you ready?
Do my countdown.
All right, in 3, 2, 1, go. Ask your first question.
Did they wrestle in the 1990s?
Yes.
Are you gonna guess?
Oh, we're gonna go Chris Jericho.
No.
Is it a female wrestler?
No.
Did they?
Wait,
Hold
I
on.
get to guess.
Hold on. Get the guess, man. Damn.
Oh, my bad.
RVD.
No. Gonzo.
Did they have long hair?
Yes.
Kevin Nash.
No.
Did they ever have the WWE title?
Like the World Championship?
Yeah.
Yes.
Triple H?
No.
Did they have hearts on their pants?
Yes.
Shawn Michaels.
No.
What? Did they wear pink?
Yes.
Bret Hart? Bret the Hitman Hart?
Angel gets the first ever dub in Guess the Wrestler. It is Bret the Hitman Hart. He gets to go against the Kingpin Mark next week.
Come on now.
Gonzo,
I got the screw job there.
Yeah, you sure did. You sure did.
Yourself.
Gonzo got the first
Show
ever
me a picture.
L.
Show me a picture of the Hitman with hearts on him.
He has the freaking heart. He's in the Heart Foundation.
I said on his pants.
Oh, man. But yeah, he gets the first ever L. Angel gets the first ever W. It will be Mark versus Angel in Guess the Wrestler next week. Gonzo, you have 1 week for us to figure out who we're going to guess next week.
It's going to be miserable for you both, so just know.
Whatever you want to say. But that was the first ever.
How many seconds did we get to there?
You had 48 seconds. That was pretty good, actually. I thought it'd be a little longer, but Gonzo with the heart kind of won it. So that was Gonzo definitely got the screw job. I thought he had it when he said that he wear a heart, and I'm like, oh, he's got it.
I got the Smack Talk screw job. This is trash.
But he got the
So mad.
Yes.
All right. Google some pants of Bret Hart.
We'll do it later. Let's move on with the show. That went better than I expected. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you want to pick the wrestler, direct message Gonzo, and maybe he'll like the wrestler you picked, and we'll have to guess it. We'll once again tune in next week for Mark versus Angel and see if Angel could start off 2-0. Moving on, guys. So let's talk about the state of the tag team division on all brands right now. All right.
I don't want to hear you rant.
I'm gonna mute this guy because he pisses me off. All right. So we got new World Tag Team Champions on Raw, the Judgment Day, thanks to Liv Morgan. WWE Tag Team Champions on SmackDown is A-Town Down Under. The NXT champions is Axiom and Frazier. One thing I want to note, David could be unmuted now. One thing I want to note is that Awesome Truth only defended those titles twice. The WWE Tag Team Champions, A-Town Down Under, has only had one title defense, which was on May 3rd of last month against the Street Profits. Haven't defended it since. And NXT Tag Team Division, they have 3 defenses, but against 2 tag teams from Raw and SmackDown. They did have a tag team turmoil match to open NXT, which I thought was amazing, which is basically a gauntlet match. So the tag teams ran the gauntlet. Idris Nofe and Malik Blade versus New Catch Republic. That was from Monday Night Raw. Versus Legado del Fantasma, which is from SmackDown, the OC, which is from SmackDown, and Chase U, who is now the number one contenders for the number one contenders for the NXT tag titles. Thank God they're from NXT. This is the problem. The lack of title defenses. You have NXT, who has actually a plethora of tag team. I listed them there. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 8 tag teams, and only 2 of those tag teams were in that gauntlet match. The state of the tag team divisions in every brand is non-existent. Unless you want to tell me otherwise. The Heritage Cup is defended more. The Speed Championship has more defenses than the SmackDown tag team titles. Okay.
Lord.
All right. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Go ahead. Keep going. Sorry.
All right. You have the Bayou Boys, D'Angelo Family, Gallus, Hank and Tank, Metaphor, No Quarter Catch Crew, OTM, and TNT all could have been in that gauntlet match, but yet you got guys who should be filling your division on the main roster coming down to NXT and competing for a shot and still lost. So you could tell me I'm ranting Gonzo all you want, but the truth is there. They're in the same shit as they were prior to the Usos unifying those titles. They're back in the same booking problem. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
So for me, I think there's a lot to be said about what you're describing for the tag divisions altogether. It almost seems like it's just the fodder division. We're gonna throw together some tag teams. Some of the tag teams are legit, but a lot of them are just thrown together. We don't know where to put you, this and that. I mean, it's weird. It's almost like it's less than a mid card. That's pretty much what it is at this point. You're less than a mid card. It's the main roster for the main belts, the mid card belts, and then you're below that. And if you're not going for the tag titles, then you're below that, then you're pretty much a jobber. So you're one step away from being a jobber if you're in the tag division at this point, in all facets, except maybe the women's one, just because Jade and Bianca were running it for a minute. But I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I don't really know how to fix it. I think right now what they were dealing with also is the change of rosters going on with the draft and the call-ups. They were trying to get their groove of, who's going to be where, what teams can stay together or change up, so on. But I don't know. It's not enticing, either show, any of the shows. So I don't really know how to fix it. We've talked about it a lot. I don't have a lot of answers. I wish I had some, but I don't have any this week. So sorry.
I mean, it's just what it is, dude. You have your tag champions qualifying for Money in the Bank as opposed to doing something to promote that division as a whole.
Yeah. It's weird.
If that's not a problem, I don't know what is.
The NXT tag team champ was in the speed title match, and he's going for the speed title in 2 weeks potentially.
There you go. Look at it. I didn't even say that. Gonzo, do you have anything else you want to say since you hate me so much on this topic?
Non-wrestling. I'm going to remove myself from wrestling, and I'm just going to throw a random bunch of comments out there. My viewpoint on this tag team division across all platforms, that it's a lot safer to put person A with person B, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, to hide certain individuals with some of their limitations, right? It can go very well when it's scripted, but when it's not scripted and you have to improvise on the spot, there are those that are going to get exposed, right? So tag team wrestling is one of the most efficient ways naturally to build stars, right? You bring people together, and then at some point they're going to move away from it. Some will stay, who knows, right? I think one of the problems with storytelling right now is the reality that you potentially have so many people that want to push their own brand. I, David Gonzalez, am pushing myself. Therefore, I am going to, regardless of what I do, I am pushing myself 24/7. Fast. Maybe this is a direct connection with too much of what society is right now, where it's all about brand pushing. A good example of that is Logan Paul. He's pushing his brand wonderfully, and it's getting over, and it's being done effectively. But when you have people that don't necessarily have various brands, what can you do then? Well, I'm going to put you with someone in hopes that you are going to outshine them. So that way the light is going to potentially move a little bit further. And I'm not going to give you your own special name. I'm not going to give you your own special music. I'm not going to give you a faction specialer that's going to end things, right? They don't even announce it. Like Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair just started doing crazy moves that end matches. I said, oh, that's pretty cool, but they don't have names for it, right? So this is just, again, something that has nothing potentially to do with wrestling. This is just like a random take that I've been sitting with. You have good, shiny gold pieces of hardware that you throw onto someone to tell me that they're supposedly relevant, right? But as we know, that's not how people are being treated right now. They're just being passed around, and it's been more individualized, I will argue, than anything else. And it's safe. And we've had more triple threat matches than I've ever could remember at any point in wrestling.
Oh,
It
100%.
seems like
Mhm.
every single week there's a triple threat match, and those things are getting more the limelight. Individual branding. You have big star, up and coming star, mediocre star. What's then going to happen, right? And so their brand of wrestling then clashes, and it does stuff and things. Is that any different potentially from the tag team? You get more people on screen. I think it's more about just getting more people on screen and then cycling through bodies right now.
Yep.
Good
I
point.
agree with all of that.
Good point.
Bianca and Jay, they come out separately with their own separate songs at the same time. They do like a little mix, but they come out separately. Fatal 4-way for the NXT title, triple threat match every week now with this Money in the Bank qualifiers, triple threat match for Cody Rhodes and them versus the Bloodline. I mean,
You got a fatal 4-way out of NXT for Heat Wave for the NXT Championship as well. Yeah.
That's what I said.
I'll defend NXT a little bit. A lot of people don't watch NXT, so I'll kind of like I'll push them off to the side.
They only have an hour per week too, only 1 hour.
So yeah, I mean that I can understand because you literally got to make sure that you put bodies. And
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did you say what about 1 hour NXT?
They get an hour as long as you're watching like on Hulu and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go on. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yep.
An hour of actual TV time.
Yeah.
But again, those are just my points that I just wanted to toss out there for others to kind of sit with.
No, I mean I get you guys, but like them doing random pairings is not something that they've done in this generation. They used to do it back in the day. I mean, Rock and Sock Connection. I mean, you had Stone Cold teaming with freaking Triple H. Like, I mean, it happens. Like, just because when you have your stars not doing anything. But my whole thing is you have tag teams and you don't use them. That's the thing. You have your tag teams to make this division. We had the height of the tag team division when we were growing up as kids, and it's never been the same. AEW had it for about a year where it was as close as it was going to get to when we were growing up, but that's already dead too. It's like there's just no, I don't know what it is, if there's no respect for it, if they just don't know how to book it. They just put more emphasis on their world titles and everything else is an afterthought. And it's not just the tag team division, it's everything. It's only recently where the IC title and the US title has started getting better booking, when Triple H finally started to bring it. But other than that, it's just, if you're not in the world title picture, especially now you got 2 world title pictures you got to book, everything else is an afterthought. That's just my point on it. But moving on, well, before we move on, this is for Gonzo. And for those of you guys that are listening, Gonzo is mad because he quote unquote had the Smack Talk Wrestling Podcast screw job. But here's the proof.
Good.
Right there. That is Bret Hart wearing hearts, not only on his chest, but on his pants.
Ooh.
So there we go.
The W stands. Angel, once again, I congratulate you on the first ever victory. And we're going to raise the L for the Gonzo over here.
L for love.
All right.
Crazy personalities.
Moving on to Judgment Day. So we saw Liv just absolutely dominate Raw. We just need to freaking say that. I don't know
Selena was kind of decent too, but yeah.
She was. She absolutely dominated Raw. She is pulling every string possible to take the Judgment Day away from Rhea Ripley. Because at the end of the day, that's what she wants, right? She wanted to take everything from Rhea Ripley. Her pursuit of Dominic, getting them to tag team championships again so they could basically win them over. Kind of like, hey, I'm trying to win over your family.
Once she asked for that match, I knew Awesome Truth was losing. I knew.
I was like,
sure. They're done. They're cooked. Sorry, go ahead. I just had to say that.
No, for sure. I agree. And it's their second chance at them too, because they only had 3 defenses. and then we also got real quick. Yeah. So Liv dominated that entire thing. So what are we gonna do as far as the outlook on them before we get to Damian Priest? Because I have some things I do want to say about Damian Priest. But before we do that, what's the whole state of the faction now? Like, is Liv slowly taking over this faction? Are they gonna side with Liv? Like, with when Rhea does return, I'm assuming SummerSlam. I'm hoping SummerSlam. What happens here? Like, what's the Judgment Day outlook right now?
Is Damian even going to be part of them anymore? I mean, he might lose the belt and his position in the group. So there's a lot that's going to happen.
He's already been talking shit, saying he doesn't need him.
It could be Liv and Dom running the Judgment Day until Rhea gets back, and then we'll have a whole war there too. I mean, we don't know. McDonough and my boy Finn, they looked pretty chill after that match. They were like, "Oh, she's here. Put the belts up. We got the belts."
I think the funniest part of it and everything is just Carlito. Like, he'd be looking at the alleged nudes. He's like, "That's cool."
Alleged nudes.
You know what I mean? We all know what she sent them, right?
She's sending feet pics, dude.
I'm sure. All right, well, find her on Feet Finder. Let me know. But like,
anyway.
But I'm just saying, like,
she probably sent him a deadbeat dad meme. Come on, you're filthy right now. Get your mind out of the gutter.
She's playing the whole sex appeal angle amazing. All right, I think
she's been perfect at how she's handled Damian, how they've had her talking to Finn on his own and getting caught, and like she's pretty much manipulating the entire group. And then she goes and ruins our awesome truth by manipulating our truth directly and then turning on him. And then everything she does with Dom is amazing. Her back and forth with Zelina was hilarious. Like, she's been killing it. Like, promo wise, I don't think there's anybody in the game better than her right now. It's like every single thing she touches is hilarious, and everyone wants to watch it. In my opinion, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Gonzo,
Liv, say I'm not Carmella. Morgan, it's a beautiful thing. No, again, it's been pretty amazing because, like you all have alluded to, you already have various seeds that have been planted for weeks, and now it's been going into days. And the fact that she's also on the Twitter machine, sending and retweeting and posting and then talking garbage to Rhea Ripley's actual husband. What's his name? Buddy
Murphy.
Buddy Murphy. So, I mean, she's literally going all out in all avenues to definitely move forward with this. She's even doing the Hawk 2 girl now, as far as she was in Bloomington. I mean,
hell yeah, she did. That was funny, bro.
Oh my god.
So, again, she's white hot at this moment. So she's burning on all cylinders. And you already have the teasing that Judgment Day is going to split, right? And so the ability to have Liv Morgan to go hand in hand with her new leader, it's not Dom, I'll say that. It's definitely going to be Finn Balor, because you already see Finn Balor in this last episode just kind of cringing and making his remarks. And so I'm all for it. It's been definitely refreshing.
Me too, dude. She's been phenomenal, and everyone knows I wasn't a huge fan of her, but I am now. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. Just you guys pretty much hit everything on the nose. No, what I do want to, for sure, what I do want to talk about is what Gonzo just mentioned. We've been seeing this tease of a Judgment Day split for a year plus. I mean, since Damian won the Money in the Bank briefcase last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, last year.
A year. Almost a year.
Sorry. My brain just went towards the
title. This is why the King of the Trolls gets muted sometimes. But we do got Priest versus Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank.
Wait, really quick before we continue, did you love the chicken nuggets plate?
Yeah, that was amazing.
I wanted chicken nuggets.
Okay, I just had to bring up the nuggets, dude, because
that wasn't a plate. That was on a pan. That was on tray, literally. Yeah. That was a tray. It was on a sheet.
So basically, according to Liv Morgan, she got them some chicken nuggies. Dude, she got them a PS5. She got them the new WWE 2K24. So I mean,
she got them the belts.
And she got them the belts. So she's hooking them up. And
the nuggets.
Carlito thinks it's cool. So
I need the nuggets, dude.
So
she even said Rhea, she was like, Rhea doesn't get you gifts, does she? Sorry, I just had to bring that up. We can move on.
No, you're good. But real quick, so to David's point, they've been teasing the split, right? We've all seen it for about a year, give or take. So we got Priest versus Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank, which is cool. If Priest retains, like we said earlier, Rollins can't challenge as long as he's champion. But there's another stipulation which really caught my attention. Is if Seth wins, Priest has to leave the Judgment Day. Is this an opportunity for Finn or somebody else to kick Damian out of the Judgment Day? Does Damian lose this title at Money in the Bank?
Go ahead, Gonzo.
It's going to be Gunther versus Priest at SummerSlam. I'm going to stick with that.
So what sells real quick? I understand. I get that too. I love Damian Priest. So what sells? Is Gunther versus Damian Priest selling a SummerSlam possible one of the main events, or does Seth Rollins versus Gunther sell a main event better?
No, I'm going to go still with Damian Priest and Gunther. And the reason for that is there's been seeds planted for quite some time.
For sure.
That the
100%.
two have had their feud. So from storytelling, I like it. I'm more invested if we go Gunther and we go Damian Priest. Rollins, I love Rollins. I wasn't before, but now again, just seeing him and his body of work now going on 6 to 7 months, I'm a huge Seth Rollins fan now. I never thought I'd ever say that. So like to have Rollins be inserted right now, I question on whether or not storytelling wise, how strong is that knee then, right? From storytelling. And so you're probably going to see something happen, or kind of like how Randy Orton was really putting out his back injury at Elimination Chamber, where he was really selling that thing, where, I mean, he moves already like at 0.5 miles an hour and to get certain spots. I mean, it was pretty interesting. And I'm more intrigued to see what type of interference, because I think Finn Balor will have a role potentially with interfering with Rollins, because again, there's heat there too. I don't think that's going to be a clean victory by any stretch of the imagination, because that's going to boil over to where I don't need you out here. You interfered with me yet again. How long is this going to continue? It's going to continue to rear its ugly head. I think that's going to be a reoccurring theme.
So still no Judgment Day split though.
No, not yet.
Okay, Guns or Angel.
Yeah, Gonzo kind of hinted right there at the end of what I've been thinking. I think the fresher story is going to be Damian and Gunther. I like Seth Rollins a lot. I think he sacrificed a lot. He still went out there and did 2 nights in a row at WrestleMania. I feel like they own him.
On no knee.
On no knee. He still went out there, took that chair shot with literally no knee for Cody, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I think how it's going to go down, it's going to be both. Damian will win the match, but he will not like that they interfered in the match like Gonzo was talking about, and he will voluntarily leave the Judgment Day because of their antics during his solo matches, because he does not like it. And he's tired of the way they act, and he said it already, I don't need them. And now everyone thinks I need them because I can't win without them. I can't win clean. He wants to be a true champion like Seth Rollins. He's talked about it. I want to be like Seth. I want to be like these guys. He doesn't want to be a CM Punk, Roman Reigns, where they always have to help. He wants to win clean. So they're going to ruin that. He's going to be upset. He's going to win, but he's gone. He's going to voluntarily leave. So both
voluntarily leave.
Yeah.
Bold.
To make a point. I like that.
Right. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. I think a betrayal's on the horizon. Don't know if it's going to be at Money in the Bank, but I think it really is coming very, very close. I think that's the play that's going to have to happen. But Angel's point, I kind of like that prediction too. So we'll see how it plays out. Lastly, let's talk the main event here. Well, our main event. Everyone's favorite new faction, the Wyatt Six, targeting Chad Gable.
That's Master in the Bank. You have to properly identify him.
Not yet.
Yeah,
he's trying to become Master in the Bank.
Confidence.
Not if they have anything to say about it.
Master in the Bank.
Targeting Chad Gable. You see how afraid he's been. I thought he really sold that amazingly. He rolled up with his own private security. I mean, you could say he really sold the fear aspect of it, which is really good in my opinion for a guy who's definitely about to get jobbed out to them. But he really sold it to instill that fear that they're having on everyone and the targeting that they've done. But what I really want to talk about, and I'll give Gonzo the floor on this one, that promo that we saw with the VHS tape that was given to Michael Cole. First of all, it was really cool, nostalgic. I love the VHS tape. That thing was, I was not expecting that to be the gift that was given or the package that was given. That was nuts to me. But the interview that had between Uncle Howdy and, Bo Dallas, or his real name, Wyndham. I forget his first name, but what's Bo's real first name?
Wyndham.
Yeah. Is he a Wyndham? I don't even know.
Yeah, they both are.
They're both Wyndhams, right?
Mhm.
No, they're
No. That's their first name.
Rotundas.
Rotunda.
The Rotundas.
Yeah, excuse
Wyndham
me.
is Bray, and Bo's real. I can't remember Bo's.
I forget Bo's real name, but that interview with himself, like that shit, chef's kiss. But Gonzo, break it down, man.
A lot of
Taylor
things.
Rotunda.
Taylor Rotunda. Thank you, Angel.
I'll go back and then finish strong to where Master in the Bank comes out. He's scared, right? Everyone thought he got a gunshot to the head, but clearly it was, him getting cracked in the head because he had the bandage going. What I will give Master in the Bank a lot of credit for too is the fact that he came on the show after he was basically left for dead. Name me the last time when WWE typically does that with wrestlers. Like, they're gone. You don't ever see them. They just disappear into the ether, never to be seen again. And the fact that Master in the Bank actually won that match on top of that, I mean, come on now. Like, usually that's not the formula that we usually see. Shortly after that, all of a sudden you have Sister Abigail or whatever variation, the witch. We haven't determined what character that is just yet.
Nikki Cross's character.
No. Meaning, Nikki Cross's character.
Mhm.
The smoke starts coming. All of a sudden, disasters all over the place. Master in the Bank freaks out. He dips out, and then all of a sudden, you have her walk over with this, Seven vibe. What's in the box? And she leaves it right there. Michael Cole lifts it up and goes, for the children watching, this is what we call a VHS tape. I almost lost it at that. But here's the difference now between Bray Wyatt's vision with how things need to go versus where you have a little bit more realism to the ridiculousness is the fact that you have a VHS tape. For those that were watching live, it took them several segments and almost like 20-ish, 30 minutes to actually get to, we have to find a VHS, player and whatnot. And so they finally do that. So they're telling the crowd, we don't know, we can't play this real quick. At some point, they're able to finally play it for us. This is how we're doing it. So it's not something that just is magically all spooky and just comes out of nowhere. It's distorted, so it's old. And the fact that you have, again, Bo Dallas, right, because that's his on-screen, then talks with Uncle Howdy. And some of the questions that are legitimately asked is, how did you feel when your brother died? Oh, well, here we go. So you have parallels for those that didn't watch the actual documentary. This is all real. Like, these are legitimate statements that Bo Dallas has already expressed, and how he misses his brother, how he wants to be able to follow in his brother's footsteps. He wants to wrestle with him, and that was taken away from me. Well, yeah, legitimately, his brother is no longer here. There's even a question that even asks him, the final one is, are you taking advantage of everything that your brother built? I said, oh my goodness, we're even acknowledging that too, right? And so in a lot of ways, therapeutic for the Rotunda family. I mean, because ultimately here you have someone that is struggling with their own emotions with grief, right? There are so many stages with grief, and it doesn't necessarily have to go in order. And here we go, this is all being stamped and it's being approved by the family. This is being handled with care, with a sense of realism, and there's a little bit of the spookiness that's also in there. As I keep saying this, Bray, unfortunately, when he would do stuff like this, sometimes there was no understanding as to what was going on. It was more left with question marks, uncertainty. Things were made mention of, but we didn't understand why. And at times it was too supernatural. And you left the crowd with questioning as to, is that even feasible? Is that possible? We're really insulting the audience in which we're trying to reach. Now that's not the case anymore. You have a little bit of the supernatural, but there's a lot now to where it's grounded in reality as to how we got to certain places. And I am very much intrigued and thrilled by everything as to how they were able to put this out. And I will say, as soon as the lights dimmed and you hear the sound, that crowd lost it as far as that pop goes. So again, this is starting to play out fairly nicely, and I'm along for the ride, and I love it.
Angel, anything you want to add?
Yeah, Gonzo broke down really well, but just got a few points I want to talk about. First point, I think it's really cool that they were able to do something that I don't think we've seen a lot of in WWE, and that's to mix story with script in a way. When I say story, I mean real life story. When you're able to mix a real life scenario with the script, usually it's something more, silly or more, something they could just play off of. This is the first time we've ever seen anything like this where it's extremely serious. And you take something that has changed literally the business at this point, Bray and the loss of him and, their family history. And when you saw Bo talking, I mean, it was not Bo talking. It was Taylor Wyndham. Like, it mixed reality with script in a way that I don't think we've really ever seen before. I don't know. I can't really think of many times where
Taylor Rotunda, by the way.
Yeah.
Rotunda.
Sorry, did I say Wyndham? My bad. Taylor
Yeah.
Rotunda. When he spoke, that wasn't Bo. That was Taylor, and that it was pretty, like Gonzo said, therapeutic, right? But we got to see that. We got to see him talk about it. And this wasn't on a documentary. This wasn't on his personal page. This is on Raw, the number one show of wrestling. And for him to do that and to be that vulnerable for something that's so serious, I mean, you just think about the ripple effect of Bray's death, his own close family, his daughters, his wife, everyone else involved with their family, all his friends in the business, the impact he had. So to see that be turned into a story and to be like a homage of like what Bray was always meant to do in the business, and seeing now Taylor doing it, wow, it's crazy. It was pretty cool, and the way they're doing it, I hope they keep going and I hope they can make it work. But so far, it's been that realness is really, really cool, and we already know we love this gimmick, we love the spooky stuff, and I hope they make it, go even more forward and full of this mystery because it's cool. I want to see what else they got in store.
Me too, man. My co-host here did a fantastic job, breaking that down, giving them their thoughts. A lot of us have the same points. So I'm not going to reiterate the same things that they did, but they definitely did a fantastic job on that segment alone. I think I do want to say is that I think I'm going to call it the VHS promo. The VHS promo really hit everyone because of how serious and personal it was. And that's all I'm really going to say because it really got me. That was the most captivating promo that I've seen in a very long time. And it really had me. And like, David mentioned, part of the documentary, all that was all in that. And the realness of that to bring that on screen to something that you're trying to put over and have fulfill what his brother was trying to do, but how real it really got for him. I think that is, once again, chef's kiss. That is just absolutely amazing to me because I don't even know personally if I was a superstar, if I was going to be able to do something like that, to get so personal for on-screen television to further the story of a faction of, pro wrestling. I think that's just absolutely amazing. So, yeah. But I want to harp on what Angel just said. Hopefully they can keep it going and keep it fresh. That is just, like I said last week, that is just my fear, right? You have this whole cinematic faction, and what they're doing is, how is this going to translate in ring? What are we going to do in ring to make an impact? You've already made
a tag team match. How are they going to do this? We need to see it in the ring.
Exactly. And that's cool. I mean, I'm not telling you to give it to me next week. You know what I'm saying? I'm just really excited, but at the same time worried. And I am saying worried. That is the correct correct word here, is because I don't know how the in-ring booking is going to compare to the cinematic booking, if that makes sense. Because the cinematic booking, their entrance alone will forever be one of the most iconic debuts of all time. Not better than Chris Jericho 99, but one of the most iconic
Okay.
debuts of all time. And I think he'll be remembered in wrestling forever. Because when can anybody ever say they did what they did? The one-shot camera angles that they did. But translating that in ring is going to be the challenge. And it's like, if you could tell me to fantasy book this right now, I have no idea.
Same.
And that's great for me, and I love that. But at the same time, like I said, I use that word worried. I'm so worried on how it's going to translate in ring, and I just hope that they're able to hit a slam dunk, a touchdown, a home run, like they did with their debut and their entrances and their promos, because everything thus far has been fantastic.
As long as you can continue to keep it creative, but then vulnerable in such a way where it's still grounded, which so far that's been the case. And that's always been the highest criticism that I've had of when it's just been Bray's not there. You have literally the material. It's now you have the appropriate people, I think, that can now move it around in such a way where you can keep it grounded. So
right, because the same boss is there. I mean, you guys, I think, you guys watched the doc, right? Bray's
yeah.
doc?
Yep.
Yeah. Triple H talked a lot about that, about his difficulties with Bray. You've talked about that, Gonzo, when he spoke about that. It's still Paul. Like, he's still in charge. So for him to but for him to, give them this time and to give them this chance, right? It's a chance. It's a tryout, whatever you want to call it, but that's basically what he's doing. And back then, he was always really concerned, and I'm sure he's just as concerned now. But he's giving them that chance. It's the same guy, so I'm assuming they got, like you said, guidance here. I'm assuming they got his blessing to do what they want to do, but also, hey, we need to make this work for the business, though. This is a wrestling business. This isn't Hollywood. This isn't Disney.
Perfectly said.
We got to do it in the ring too, but
Perfectly said. And that's just my worry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I have faith, and if Paul okayed this, I think there's a shot that they can make this work. Let's see what they do.
Agreed. Anybody else have anything on the Wyatt 6?
Not yet. No.
Gonzo?
I just know I was lied to at the WWE SmackDown event by that vendor.
When we were outside, remember we went to two shirt shops. You weren't there yet. Yeah. So Angel arrived later, for you guys don't know. So we were there really early because of me and Angel's scare last time for Raw. But me and Gonzo went to a shirt vendor outside. They didn't have this out front for me because I'm a fat guy. And they didn't have the Wyatt 6 shirt. And then when Gonzo asked, hey, are the shirts inside different than outside? The vendor said, no, they're all the same. So then I really wanted the Chicago Nightmare shirt. And once again, I'm a big guy, so I wanted to go to another shirt vendor. And when we went to another one inside, sure enough, we saw the Wyatt 6 shirt. So Gonzo, of course, had to get in line, you know what I mean? I got my shirt in the correct size, and he, Angel and I are the only fans of LA Knight, not Gonzo, because he refuses to buy a shirt.
Dude,
and he got the Wyatt 6 shirt.
I don't want to talk about the vendors. They had an LA Knight hat, an LA Knight necklace, an LA Knight finger, an LA Knight sunglasses, everything but a t-shirt. If
you were a true fan, you would have got the LA Knight necklace. Or at least
anything
the hat.
But a t-shirt. I am very upset. They even had a plush toy of LA Knight. Come on now.
Should have got it. All right, whatever, guys. Angel, final thoughts on anything that we discussed or didn't discuss?
Not too many. I usually write more notes about this part. The only thing I'll say, and I mentioned it earlier, Selena Vega had a really good promo with Liv. She was very witty. She went back and forth really quickly. She dissed Dom hilariously. I thought she looked really good out there for that moment. And she hasn't had a lot of opportunities to talk on her own. She's always part of the
Latino Wars.
So she only gets her little bits and that's it. But that was cool to see her get her little moment with the champ and with Dom and all that. And I think she was overshadowed a little bit because Liv was just such a big star for that entire episode. But I just wanted to give her flowers for that moment because I think she did a good job, and it's cool that they're having a match, which Liv will win. I'm sorry to, I know we're waiting on that, but whatever. But either way, I just want to give her flowers.
Just to I don't want to I don't want to talk about that like forever, but I just want to piggyback. Quick statement: is Lena Vega can go. I mean, we saw her at Backlash in Puerto Rico, and I thought that was going to be her coming out party, and they really did nothing with her after that match with Rhea Ripley. I mean, yeah, it was a home crowd pop, but she put on a fantastic showing against Rhea Ripley. That was not a squash match by any means, and they did nothing with it, so she can go. I would really like her to get a chance, but I digress. Gonzo, final thoughts?
I had my rant about the WWE vendors, so I think that was my final thought.
All right, my final thought. Gonzo mentioned earlier in the show that a lot of people don't watch NXT. My final thought to you guys is NXT is legit. I've been watching NXT since it started. NXT is back to, and I personally feel like, as far as storytelling and production wise, NXT Black and Gold before it went to the dark years in 2.0. Watch NXT. We got a fantastic PLE coming up. We got a fatal 4-way for the title. I mean, D'Angelo family, they have good factions, good matches, young talent coming up. This is the talent that you're going to see on the main rosters eventually. Watch it. Angel, you had your finger up.
Yeah, that cup match yesterday, that shit is very interesting. And for the future of WWE in general, it's very cool to see a match like that. Because
real quick, guys, he's talking about Tony D'Angelo defending the Heritage Cup against Nathan Frazier. Nathan Frazier. Yeah. So go on.
It was really cool to see, especially with them, because they have their corner. When you have two wrestlers that have the family, and is it Axiom? What's his name?
Axiom.
And it was cool to see, like, when the round ends, Frazier hit that special. He didn't get the pin off. He lost it. Saved by the bell for Tony. And like it creates this cool dynamic. Oh, it's a tie. 1-1, blah blah blah. Like the tie goes to the. It's
kind of like a faster Iron Man match a little bit in some ways.
But it mixes in a little bit of the real combat sports of UFC and boxing, where you have that moment in the corner. You have your team that can support you, and you also have this point system where, I'm down, I can come back, or it creates this cool dynamic that I really want to see more of in wrestling. Now that I really paid attention to this match, I've seen it before, but I didn't really realize, especially watching this one, the Saved by the Bell rule, all this different dynamics that was going on. And I would love to see like title matches have this type of setup. I don't know. I feel like in the future of wrestling, this type of match, these rules specifically, I feel like it'll be implemented. Maybe not, not anytime soon, but I think far in the future of wrestling, it'll be something to keep an eye on, 20 years from now. I think it'll be bigger.
I like the Heritage Cup a lot. And I think Gonzo hit it on the nose a few weeks ago because everyone knows how pissed I was that Tony D'Angelo pretty much got downgraded. But he turns it into a positive and says maybe he's being used as popularity to push this type of match and to put more eyes on the cup. I think David is 100% right weeks later. So, but other than that, guys, that concludes episode 20 of the Smack Talk Wrestling Podcast. Gonzo, King of the Wrestling Trolls, tell everyone where we can find you.
God, as far as I was gonna say under a bridge at this point, but you've got the Raising Personalities there, so definitely can find me on TikTok and Instagram, and then also YouTube. As far as X goes, I've got the David_MALCP right there, so that's what most of my X account will be, is just reposting most PLEs. The other fun stuff, again, you're going to find me more on those other platforms with the Raising Personalities.
The best Twitch streamer, AOK Gaming, what's going on? Where can we find you?
Yeah, find me on Twitch or Kick right here if you're watching, at AOK or A_OK Gaming, and also on X. You want to watch me game weeknights most of the time. Siege, recently been playing a lot of FC, thinking about getting the new college football, other stuff going on. I did download AEW, Mark, but I know you said it sucks. Maybe I did download Street Fighter, or not Street Fighter, Streets of Rage, excuse me. So that's on there. But yeah, we'll see what else I'll play. And then on X, I've been paying attention to the speed stuff going on, so maybe I'll be posting a little bit more about that. We'll see what happens.
He's already been tweeting about it, guys. Go follow him.
I'm gonna take the bullet for the team here and be the speed guy because it's pretty interesting. And there is some other promos going on social media that you don't always see on the shows. So maybe I'll pay attention to that, retweet those, do a little bit more wrestling tweeting on there. But yeah, that's me.
All right. Well, my marks, you guys know where to find me, pro_wrestling_kingpin on all social media. I will be tweeting or Xing or whatever the hell it's called next weekend, especially with the double PLE on the weekend. Maybe we'll do a PLE show. I don't know. I say that every PLE since we moved to Wednesdays. But, weekends are a lot harder for us, which is why our show is now on Wednesdays. But you know where to find us. You know where to find me, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, X, Instagram, all of it, pro_wrestling_kingpin. And for those of you guys listening, you can find this Spotify posted on Thursday nights. You could listen to this episode every Thursday. It's posted every Thursday morning. If not, like I said, join us every Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And once again, I hope you guys enjoyed the new game tonight. Guess the wrestler. Gonzo will be choosing for us next week, so stay tuned. Comment on the clips. DM him if you want him to. Maybe he'll pick the person you guys picked. Who knows? It's up to him. But one more time.
Acknowledge.
There's the legit right there. Acknowledge Angel's first W.
Cheated.
And we will see you next week, Wednesday, 9:30 Central Standard Time, SmackDown. Here we go. Acknowledge Solo Sikoa. He is him. We are out. See you next week, guys.
Solo's here right now for me.